Okay, welcome everyone. This is activity negative 2.0, how to create a Windows 10 virtual box on your Windows 10 computer. Basically, how to install Windows 10 in your client host computer. Okay, to start off with, what do we need to do? We need to have a look at how to download Windows 10 ISO from Microsoft, how to download VM Player, how to install VM Player, and how to install Windows 10 into a virtual machine using VMware Workstation Player 15 or 16. So that's what we're going to go through today, or in this tutorial. So let's begin by, if everyone, or if you're studying this online, you'll have in the online system, you'll have your folder, the course code, use and optimize an operating system, and you'll have docs, and you have a list of documents, and you'll see activity negative 2.0, how to create a Windows 10 VirtualBox on your Windows computer. So if we double click that up, that should tell you the steps to follow and the instructions. So we'll just quickly have a look at that before we begin. Taking a few seconds to open Word. There you go. There's our step-by-step instructions on how to install Windows 10 into a virtual machine on your client computer. So those are the instructions that we're going to go through. So now you know where to find it. It's in your docs folder. Okay. So to begin, introduction. Purpose of this guide is to act as an aid to download Windows ISO file, download VM Player, configure VM Player and its hardware requirements, and install Windows 10 on your host computer as a virtual machine. And we're going to call this virtual machine Windows 10 underscore VM. How to download 1.1. How to download Windows 10 ISO from Microsoft. Start your web browser and go to the following web address. So we might actually start Microsoft Edge. So we'll start Edge. And there it is. There's my web browser. And we might type the address, or we can use Google. We might just use Google, www.google.com. So you type the address up there in the address bar. But for convenience sake, or to demonstrate a bit more, we might go, what are we looking for? Microsoft Windows 10 download. And then press enter. And you have some ads. We don't want that. We want this one, because the domain name here in the search results says Microsoft.com ENAU, because we're from Australia. So we choose that one. We want the ISO actually. And it takes us to the page which is in the activity negative 2.0. It's the same address in the address bar there. We don't want to upgrade. We want to download. We want to use the download tool or to create Windows 10 installation media. So we use the download tool now, and that will allow us to download Windows 10. So that was step 2, look for a section called Create Windows 10 Installation Media, which we did. And now it's just downloaded it. We press download. And now we might actually just, that's the download section. And if you click on that one, open downloads folder. So that will take us to our downloads folder. And just convenience sake, I might just click and drag that onto the desktop. Then I can close that. And then I can close that as well. And there's our media creation tool. So if we double click that, and that will run us through how to download Windows 10 from the Microsoft Store. This will take a few seconds. And throughout the video, I will pause some of the sections because they take a while. So I might pause it here until it's ready. So pause. Okay, now it's brought up the Windows 10 setup dialog box or dialog wizard. Read through that, read through all the terms and conditions, and then click accept. And this will take a few seconds as well. So we're up to step 5. I'll just pause the video again. Okay, now it's popped up with this. What do you want to do? Do you want to upgrade this PC? No, we don't want to upgrade this PC. Step 5 says click create installation media for USB, DVD or ISO file for another PC. So we want to install the ISO actually. So we choose ISO because VM workstation or player will ask us what media type do we want to install from. You can install from USB, a DVD, but in our case, for our virtual environment, we'd only use an ISO file. So we choose next. And what language? We might choose English United States edition, Windows 10, and architecture 64. We don't use 32, we want to use 64. If you untick recommended settings, you can change what you want to download. So we want 64. Let me just tick that back on. And then we click next. And what do we want to choose the media type as? You can either create a Windows 10 USB, or you can download just the ISO file. So we just want to download the ISO file. So we'll click next. And now where do we want to save it? We might actually save it, I think in the manual. It says specify and browse the computer and put it on your desktop. So we might go desktop. I don't think in the documentation tells you what file name to give it. Oh, I think it does. Oh, save the file as Windows 10 ISO. So we might just put 10 behind Windows. So Windows 10 ISO and save it on desktop. Click desktop. Desktop, change the name, put number 10 in front, and then click save. And it will start downloading. And all we have to do now is wait till the download is complete. I'll give it a few seconds until it goes to 1%. Or I might actually just pause the video here. This might take a while. Okay, now it's started at 1%, so this will take a while. I'll wait until the end. Okay, it just finished downloading. Now it's verifying your download. So let's see how long this takes. I'll pause the video here. Now it's actually running through verifying the media. And I just wait for it to go through, so I'll pause the video here. Okay, now it's finished downloading and it's actually saved it on the desktop. Now we can either click it and open it or just click the finish button. So we'll just click the finish button to finish the download. So now we have our media creation tool, which we just used, and now we actually have our Windows 10 ISO file. And that completes step 9. Now we're up to 1.2, how to download VM Player. Start your web browser and type the following address. Okay, so we're going to do our web browser. Our web browser has started up and we might just type Google in the address bar, or we can type in the following address: https://www.vmware.com.au/au products workstation player, etc. But we'll just go Google. And what do we want to look for? We want to look for VMware workstation. Let's see what that brings us up. We don't want to add Windows VMware Workstation Pro. No, download VMware Workstation Pro. No, we want VMware Workstation Player. So maybe we might type VMware Workstation Player. What does that bring us? There you go. That's our web address. We don't want AD, it's an add. So we want this one. Download VMware Workstation Player VMware AU. And I'll click that. And that's the same address what's in the document, the Activity 2.0 document. And then we scroll down and we're up to step 2. Click on download now. We want it for Windows because we've got the Windows operating system. Download now. And then it'll actually start downloading. And I might just stop the video here for a second. Until the download is complete. Now the VMware Player application has just finished downloading. And just for convenience sake, Step 3 says click on the options button and select show in folder. So that's the options button, and open folder. But we won't do that. There's a little button there with a folder icon, and we'll click opens downloads folder. So we open downloads folder, and there it is. So we might just drag that onto the desktop, and now it's on our desktop. So we'll close that, and we'll close the browser, and now we're ready for the next step. So we have the media creation tool, we have Windows 10, and now we have Windows, or not Windows, VMware Player ready to use for step 1.3, how to install VM Player on your host computer. I just paused the video for a second. Okay, so we're up to step 1.3, how to install VM Player on your host computer. Step 1, locate the VMware Player exe file. So that's our VMware Player exe, which we downloaded before. So if we double click that, and do you want this app to make changes to your system? Yes. So this is the VMware Workstation Player application. So by installing this, we do another part of the unit, which is installing application software. So it starts the installer, and now this is the wizard to install the software. So we'll just click next. So we just did step 3. Now we accept the license agreement, which is step 4. I accept. And then we click next. And we just leave everything as is. Step 5, click the next button to set the default installation path. So that's the path where this application is going to be installed. C drive programs, x86 VMware, and then VMware Player. Then we choose next. Uncheck, check the product updates at startup, and no, we do not want to join the VMware Custom Experience program. Then we choose next, and create a desktop shortcut and start menu. Click next, and then we click install, and it will start installing. And now I'll create a VMware Workstation Player icon. Few more seconds, I'll just move that out of the way. Move that there. Actually, I might move that all the way up there. And put VMware Workstation Player just next to there. And I'll just pause the video, or maybe not. So VMware is getting all different settings from the computer. It's installing network drivers. So it's automatically detecting the hardware which is already on our current client host Windows 10. And then click Finish. Step 10, you should see the VMware player on your desktop. That's the icon. And I just pause the video here for a second. And now we'll start it up for the first time. So we double click VMware Workstation 16 player or 15. And because I've already installed it, actually, it didn't bring up the license agreement. The license agreement will show up, use VMware Workstation Player 6 for free for non-commercial use. Click that box, click continue, then click finish, and you'll be brought to this screen. And I'll stop the video here for the next set of instructions or steps. Okay, with VMware Workstation Player opened up, next step, 1.4, how to install Windows 10 into a virtual machine using VM Workstation 15 or 16 player. Firstly, 1.4.1 System requirements for installing Windows 10. Processor, 1 gig processor. RAM, at least 1 gig for 32-bit or 2 gig for 64-bit. So we'll probably need 2 gig. Hard disk space, 16 gig for a 32-bit. But for a 64-bit OS, we need 32 gig of free space. Graphics card, DirectX 9, display 800 by 600, and requires internet connection for some of its applications and connectivity. Okay, 1.4.2, configuring VMware Workstation Player so that Windows 10 operating system can be installed. So what we're going to do is configure VMware so we can install Windows 10 on it as a virtual machine. And also note the name of the virtual machine that we're going to be creating is win10_VM. So with our VM player already up and running on our host Windows computer, so this is our host computer, and this is VM Workstation Player open. So what we're going to do is create a new virtual machine. So go create new virtual machine. And where's our source or where's our media to install Windows 10? We can say we might have it on CD-ROM, but we don't have it on CD-ROM. Install it later, but we'll install it via an ISO file. And our ISO file is on our desktop. So click, actually, the browse button. Choose install disk image ISO and then the browse button. So then we go to desktop. So we got our desktop and there's our Windows 10 ISO file that we downloaded. So select that, open, click next. So we're up to step 3. So click next. Choose Microsoft Windows because that's our operating system. And version is Windows 10 64-bit. And then next. And in the virtual machine name, we are going to call it WIN underscore. No, it was Windows 10 underscore VM. So Windows 10 underscore VM. And I'm going to leave it in that default location. C drive users, username, documents, virtual machines, Windows 10 VM. And then go next. And store virtual disk as a single file. And I'm going to set the size to 80 gig. So 80, because it says maximum disk size. 80 gig. And the hard disk will shrink or grow depending on what you install in the virtual machine. So 80 gig doesn't exactly declare 80 gig all at once. It will shrink and grow as you need it. I might go back and change the location where I want to. I might go back and change the location of where I want to save it on my computer. So I just changed my location to D drive root VMware 3 underscore RC for recording. But you can just use the default location what's in the user manual document or the how-to document. Okay. 80 gig, store as a single virtual disk file. Choose next. And then I think it says customize. Click customize hardware. And now it shows up the different hardware settings or internal hardware, but in this case it's virtual hardware. So memory, how much disk space? Normally, as a general rule, you will put half of everything. So memory. So if you have 4 gig, we'll leave it as 2 gig. If you have two processors, we might make it one processor. But in this case, we're just going to use 2 gig of RAM, 2 processors, CD-ROM. CD-ROM is our ISO file, or you can use a physical drive and connect on power up. So each time the virtual machine's up, it will load the CD-ROM physically. Network adapter, connect at power on. So when the virtual machine starts up, we have network connection. We have a bridge, we have NAT, host only, custom, or LAN segment. For in this case, we'd only use NAT, Network Address Translation, used to share the host IP address. So we only share this, our client, Windows 10 computers, host IP address. So we'll leave it on that. USB, we probably want USB, show all USB input devices. And just leave it as USB 3, doesn't go any higher than that. And share Bluetooth devices in virtual machine. Sound card, just choose a default. Printer, no printer at this stage. And display, leave it on auto detect. And then click close. If you want to add additional hardware, you can click add. Then these are the different hardware types you can also add. You could probably add another network adapter. We might do that. Add another network adapter. Now we have 2 network adapters. And you might put that as host only for a private network. But if we go connect that power on, I won't connect when we start it up. But on our first network adapter, use the share IP host IP address and connect on power on. So when the computer starts, it's connected to the internet. Okay, we might leave that and we might go close. So now we're up to step 1.4.2.1, and that was to note all the hardware settings. So if we went to customize and we just get a screenshot of each of these. So if we go print screen on the computer, or maybe we might start WordPad, wrdpad.exe, WordPad, and minimize that. Press Alt print screen, then go back to WordPad, press enter, paste, and there is our screen captures. And the instructions says to save the file, document title, virtual machine 10 settings. So file, save as, and we might save it on the desktop, and we might call it virtual machine 10 settings, and save. And then we might press enter, and then we minimize, and we might go back to the next setting and go Alt print screen, PRT SCR on the keyboard, and go back to WordPad, Control V, and then minimize, and hard disk we're using, which is the ISO, and press enter, Control V, and network address, Alt print screen, WordPad, Control V, minimize, USB, Alt print screen, Control V, enter. I might skip those one and just go straight to display, Alt print screen, and Control V to paste what's in the clipboard, which is our print screen, and we might just go save, and that does that activity, and we can close that. Now we have our 1.4.2.1 Notes on hardware settings for the virtual machine for Windows 10. So we can scroll down, way down the page, up to step 7, and we should be on page 21, step 7. And we should be still in the hardware section of the virtual machine. Click close. And that was step 7. Click close and click finish. And give it a few seconds to create the virtual machine, which is already done. Wait till VM complete configuration of your virtual machine. Start the installation of Windows 10. So click finish. Oh no, we don't. We click, what do we do? Step 8, click the play virtual machine to start the Windows 10 processor. So the Windows 10 underscore VM in the VM workstation player on the left hand side underneath the home, that's our virtual machine that we created. I just have a lot. So we'll click that to select it. So home, then click the virtual machine that we just created, and then click play virtual machine. And press enter. And now it's booting Windows 10 from timeout. Send control delete. Okay, now it is installing Windows 10. So 1.4.3 how to install Windows 10 in virtual machine using a VM workstation. Step 9. Kind of just skipped that. We just did that. Step 9, press the enter button. Step 10. Step 10. Select the United States for the language, time and currency, United States, and keyboard. United States, and click next. So we'll click next. And then click step 11, click the install now button. And setup is starting. And product key. We'll click I don't have a product key at the moment. And then ask you what type of Windows 10 do you want? And we're going to go Windows 10 Pro. And then click next. And the architecture type is 64-bit. And we'll click next. And read the terms and conditions. And click I accept the terms and conditions. Click next. Do you want to upgrade Windows? No, we're doing a new install. So click custom. Step 15, click custom install Windows only. And this is our entire hard disk in our virtual machine. We set that up. It was 80 gig in total size. So we just install it on that because that's the only partition that we have, or the only virtual machine hard disk we have. So step 16, we could, if you want, you could create new to create separate partitions, but for this example, we just want to use the entire disk. So we just click next. I just click new. No, yeah, next will do. And now it's copying the files. So now we just have to wait for copying of the files over. So I'll just pause the video here until we get to about finishing up. Is it working? Yes, it's working. So I'll pause the video here. Okay, I just got to 1%. Okay, it's starting. Okay, now I'll pause. Okay, now it finished installing and it's just restarting. Getting devices ready. Getting ready, and it should come up with just a moment. So I'll just pause here for a second, just while it gets ready. And now Windows is just restarting as part of the installation. And just a moment, which we're on still step 17. And soon enough we'll be on step 18 where we have to select our region. Okay, there we go, select our region. We might just choose, actually we might just choose Australia. Australia. And then click yes. Step 19, select your keyboard. US, yes. Do you want to add a second keyboard? No. Skip. And I just pause while it does its processing. Oh no, don't have to. Set up for personal use. Sorry. But if you're adding to a domain, you would set up for an organization. But we just personal use, set up for personal use. Then click next. Step 22. we don't want to use a Microsoft account at this time. We want to use offline account. So we can create a user just to our computer. So click offline account, which it says in step 22. Click next. Offline account. Next. So what I just did to get the offline account was I disconnected the network adapter. So it's not connected anymore. Or you can pull out the network connection to your computer. Who's going to use this PC? So we might say demo 1, demo 1, click next, create a password, create a password, yes, create a password, maybe maybe type password as password, but instead of S, choose number 5. And go next. And then it asks you to confirm the password. Then we choose next. Passwords do not match. Secret questions. What's your favorite pet's name? What's your favorite pet's name? Robert. Robert. What's your favorite pet's name? What is the name of the city where you were born? So we choose next for what's your favorite pet's name. Next question is, what's the name of the city where you were born? Mars. Oops. Mars. Next, one more question. What's your favorite childhood nickname? Boa. Or Bo. Click next. And I might just turn the network connection back on. And click accept. Click not now. I'm just going to turn everything off. And then I'm not going to accept. Click now. Just wait a minute. Step 30, click not now. No, click not now. Wait till everything is set up. This will take a few minutes. So I'll just let that run and I'll come back to it. So I'll pause the video here. Okay, once it's finished, maybe go click get started to give you a tour of where everything is, but I'm going to click maybe later. Come on, maybe later. Okay, cool. Now, that's Windows 10 in a virtual machine. How do I know? Because I've got VMware Player toolbar up here, and I'm in full screen. If I want to go back to exit full screen, I click that, and that's what it looks like. Windows 10 client machine or host machine inside Windows 10. This is our virtual machine. So I'll go full screen mode, and I might just, let's see, right click where the search text box is, go search, and show search icon, make it small. And in the documentation it says just explore. So we might go Explorer, File Explorer, and this is what we see. And we might right click Properties. This is some of the information about our computer. That's the name of our computer currently. How much CPU, how much RAM, display settings, sounds. But we want to have a look at the hardware. So to have a look at hardware, we need to go what's called the control panel. So if you right click, run, so right click on the start button, and then choose run and type control, control.exe, control.exe, because exe is an application. Click OK, and that will actually start control panel. And if we go categories, select small icons, and then go to system, which should bring up device manager, and that should list all the devices. System. Oh, not system, device manager, sorry. Wrong location. And there you go, device manager has a list of all the hardware we have. We have audio, microphone and speakers, we have battery controls, a computer, hard disks. At the moment, we've got VMware, virtual machine, SCSI hard disk, display adapters, our graphic display, CD-ROMs, we've got a virtual CD-ROM, which is SATA, human input devices, hard drives, the chipset it's using, Intel, standard SATA, keyboards, PS2 keyboard, mice, PS2, monitor, plug and play, PNP, network adapters, we have two, but one of them is not operational. We're not actually using two at the moment, but there's two detected. So when we did the hardware configuration of the virtual machine, we actually created additional one, so that's why we have two. So these two are Intel based chipset network cards. Ports, COM1 at the moment, printer queues, Microsoft printer queue, Microsoft print to PDF. So when you go to Edge browser and you go print, it's using this driver to generate the PDF. Processor, we allocated two CPUs, so that's why we have two identical CPUs. Other devices, sound, audio, storage controller, other system devices, which is part of the chipset. And USB devices. We have USB 3.0. So they're all the hardware devices that a typical computer would use. So that's where this unit comes into install an operating system and use the hardware items. So these are a list of all our hardware items. And to get there, to view all our hardware items, we went to Control Panel and Device Manager to list a view of all the devices. And where was it? Device Manager. So we're in Control Panel, All Items, and then Device Manager. And then that's it. And to get out of the virtual machine, and there's our little virtual machine. We can resize it to make it maybe half the screen. But when we'll be working, we might be in full screen mode. So that button there is full screen. And to get out of it, you press Control Out. And then you can hit the Windows button. And it takes you to this Windows button rather than this Windows button. So to get out of this virtual machine, in VM Player, you press the left control and the out button at the same time. And if you want to get out of it, out of the virtual player, you can hit Exit Full Screen Mode. And then to get out of our virtual machine, you can pause it. So it will take a snapshot of the state it's in. So any data that's saved, that it's running, it will actually save it in the virtual machine by pressing pause. Or if you want, you can shut down the virtual machine. If you go Start, Power, Shut Down. And now it's shutting down our virtual machine Windows 10. Now to start it back up, we just go to VM where Workstation Player, the icon. There you go. There's our VMware workstation and a list of all the virtual machines we have. So I'll leave it there for now, and you can probably see the next tutorial on how to install Kali Linux subsystem in the virtual machine that we just created. Thanks for listening.